G'day Reefers, I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Welcome to Gallery Aquatica TV. Today we're back at Giant Reef. This beautiful tank is suffering from a waterborne algae problem, and today we're going to show you a guaranteed way to fix this problem. Before we talk about how we're going to fix this problem, let's just talk about what has caused the problem. Now, first of all, this tank has suffered from huge amounts of light and huge amounts of nutrients. And the lighting we can control. We've got radions, we're going to turn down the light, we're going to reduce the ambient light, but the nutrients is what I'm going to get started with today. I'm going to change out the floss, which you can see is way overdue, and I'm going to put in some new stuff. So we've just got Simec. This is probably the best value on the market, I reckon. And our sump has been designed to fit perfectly like so. So I should have replaced this weeks ago. We've been busy with other aspects of the aquarium, but today it's all about getting this waterborne algae under control. So we're going to start with our nutrient problem, and the next thing we're going to do, which is the guaranteed fix, we're going to put on a UV sterilizer. This is the UV sterilizer we're going to be installing on Giant Reef today. It's a UV twist 57 watt. Now we actually have got two of these units for this tank, but today we're just going to set up the first one, and I think that one of these by itself is going to be enough to fix our waterborne algae. Now these are without doubt one of my favorite UV sterilizers. They're very compact, they're very good quality. With some cheaper units you have problems with the housing degrading, but not with these ones. They're excellent. We stock the bulbs, and I definitely like the UV Twist 57 watts. But there is one problem with them. You have to adapt the fittings to suit the hosing that you're going to be using. Now, typically with aquariums, we use soft hose like what we're using today. This is Aqua One, and it's 16-22 mil hose. This is very much a standard type of hose in the aquarium industry. So we have to adapt our UV Twist 57 watt to suit this hose. And we have the perfect thing for it. These Gallery Aquatica UV Twist adapters. We're going to open it up and show you exactly how to plumb them into these UV sterilizers. And then we're going to hook this UV sterilizer up to the manifold. This is everything that we're going to need for the job today. We've got a UV Twist. We have some PVC cement. We have two of our Gallery Aquatica UV Twist barbed hose adapters. We've got thread tape, we've got a candy cane and zip ties. So we'll open up this unit and show you how we plumb these together. So this is the UV Twist. We're going to put our tube in here, connect up the power supply to that. Then we're going to put our fittings, 1, 2, with our Gallery Aquatica barbed fittings like this. We're going to have one on either side. Our hose is then going to connect, and water is going to feed from the manifold into one of these points and then back into the sump. Now, I typically like to run somewhere between 1,000 and 1,200 litres per hour through these units. And the reason why I use that rating or that flow is because that gives you a UVC rating that will actually be effective against marine white spot. And that's one of the reasons why these units are so good. They do control marine protozoa. Today we're using it for waterborne algae, but this will provide protection in the future against marine protozoa. So let's get our other fitting in place and we'll glue it together. So This is the most important part. We thread tape the thread and we glue that little bush into here and this into the collar. And we have our glue. The order that I typically do this is I put this in place, I glue this little part here into this like so, ensuring that I don't get any glue on the thread, and then I glue this part into the collar. Now you need to be careful that you don't make a mess, and there you go. And as you can see, I'm doing this over a very large drop cloth. But the main thing I ensure is that you don't want to get glue on the seal of the collar. Alright, so this is probably the messiest one I've ever done, but I haven't got any glue on the thread and I haven't got any glue on the rubber seal underneath. So I know, as ugly as that is going to seal and it's not going to allow water flow through here. So that's the first one glued. We'll tape that in a sec. So let's do a neater job on this one. I do purposely use a lot of PVC cement just so that I can ensure that it seals perfectly. Okay. Keeping that off the rubber O-ring. Okay. Again, not perfect, but it is going to seal, and that is the most important thing. So I'll give that a couple of minutes and then we'll do the thread tape. Now we're going to put some thread tape on the thread of the hose tail and put it in place. So I have been told by plumbers that I don't do this exactly right. However, my argument is that the most important thing is that it seals, and I normally get it to seal pretty well, so we'll see. Anyway, this has got to be enough. 6 times round, I think they told me. Anyway, here we go. Alright. I like it to go in nice and tight. Hard to see it, I think, but you want it to just be able to go around. Okay, so I wish I'd done this in a different coloured glue. If I normally use clear PVC cement, which would have looked a lot better, but for some reason I chose this light grey. So the next one. Okay, we're also going to use these brackets. Now the unit's going to sit on the ground for now, and these brackets will be helpful so that it sits flat. So that just goes in like so. One. supposed to be tight. Okay. Alright, it's going to sit like this. We'll put our bulb in. I'm not going to touch the bulb itself, but this goes in, and okay, so we've got a good seal here, a good seal here. Now I'm going to put our power supply onto this UV twist, pushing it all the way. This goes in like so. I'm just going to pull the cord out a little bit. I typically like the actual tube to be fairly close to the window so you can tell if it's on or not. Anyway, that goes in like so. This tightens up. Don't need to do it too tight. It's really just to hold it there. There's no seal from water here. The seal from water is here. I can pull the light backwards or forwards. I'll pull it fairly close to the end. And then this locks the cord in place so that you can't accidentally damage the fitting. Alright, so that's our UV sterilizer ready to go in place. We have our 16mm hose, which is going to go from here to the manifold. But we'll start by putting our UV sterilizer in position. So I've just made sure that our power reaches, and we've got power. I've got it turned off at the moment. It's very important that you ensure that your UV sterilizer is turned off when there's no water flowing through it. You don't want the bulb to be heating up when there's no water passing through it to cool it. So we have a manifold point here. Just turned off this refugium light. But this is our manifold point, and I'm going to take the hose off it so I can put our hose from our UV sterilizer. Okay, so this is good. We've now got our manifold point connected to our UV. We'll fix this refugium light later. And we're going to run the spare hose from the second side, and this is going to be hard to see, but we'll have a closer look in a minute, from the second point of the UV twist we're going to run this second bit of hose from the second fitting on the UV twist to this candy cane, and this is going to feed back into the sump. And the reason why I use these candy canes is so that I can be sure that the water is definitely going to go into the sump and the hose isn't going to fall off and end up on the floor. Obviously it would be a disaster, we'd have water everywhere, so this way it secures the hose and we can be sure that no water ends up on the floor. But I just need to put a couple of zip ties on the second fitting of the UV sterilizer and on the manifold point, and probably on here as well, and then we'll be ready to turn it on and fire it up. We've got a UV twist 57 watt hooked up but not turned on. This is going to be the manifold point that we'll open it up to turn it on. Our hose connects to that, which then feeds into the first fitting on the UV twist down the bottom here. From there it feeds through the water feeds through the UV twist unit and back out the fitting here into our candy cane here. So there you have it. We've hooked up our UV twist 57 watt and it's all ready to go. We're not going to turn it on today. We're going to open up the manifold and have water flowing through it tomorrow, just so that we've got an extra 24 hours for the glue to set so it's fully ready when we turn it on. We'll then turn on the power to the UV bulb and it will start to kill the waterborne algae. So we'll come back in a week from then and we'll see exactly how the tank has gone with a week of UV sterilisation, and hopefully it won't be so green. Well, here we are back at Giant Reef, and doesn't it look amazing? It is crystal clear Our UV sterilizer has done an amazing job by basically filtering out all of the waterborne bacteria and or algae in the water column. And so now we have a crystal clear tank. There's a few little particles floating around. I've just done the algae on the glass with the magnet cleaners. The UV sterilizer doesn't really stop the algae on the glass, of course, but you can see that the water is crystal clear. Now, it's been a couple of weeks since we were here last. We plan to come back sooner than that, but we gave it a couple of weeks as we weren't able to get here. And so you can see that we've got a few new additions to the tank. We've got the blue tang, we've got a harlequin tuskfish, absolutely beautiful specimen. There's a pair of Melanurus wrasse, a lawnmower blenny, and a Picasso trigger. Now, everything is doing great. You can see the fish are particularly happy, and it's nice to see this tank starting to take shape. But the other thing about our UV sterilizer is that now that we've got more fish, we also have some added protection against fish disease with the UV sterilizer. Looking at the fish, they're all perfectly healthy and doing really well. The water's clear, so I'm going to say the addition and installation of the UV Twist 57 watt on Giant Reef was a huge success. And at some point in the future, we'll install the second one. We'll have 114 watts on Giant Reef. But we'll come back to Giant Reef in the future for more updates. We'll show you when we put more fish and corals into this tank. But for today, that's it for Gallery Aquatica TV. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Happy reefing. That's it for this week's episode of Gallery Aquatica TV. Don't forget to like and comment on all our videos and subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned to Gallery Aquatica TV for more exciting episodes to come. I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Happy reefing!